All right. I'm really not sure where to begin with this. I'm sure probably some of you probably asked why the hell I titled this video The Journey. Well, I'll tell you why. When I first started off on this new journey of consciousness and awakening, the very first place I turned to was the Bible. Now, did I use the Bible much before that? Truthfully, no, I didn't. I'll be honest. Never looked in it, never read it, never really cared what the hell was in it. Now, my family, on the other hand, they were much different. My dad, born and raised in it. Matter of fact, my grandparents own a church. Yes, they own a damn church. So my dad knows about it. Now, as to whether he actually followed in that, I don't know. I never really asked him about it. I never thought that was an important topic to talk about. My mother, on the other hand, very much bathed in it. I mean, all day long she blasts the J word. She blasts the J word all day long. And I quease at the sound of that shit. Like I can't stand it. But I'm pretty sure she would probably think I was crazy too. Because humans they're afraid of what they don't understand. They're afraid to move outside of the box of anything that they think is the edge of the box. Because see, this is the kind of thing that religion does to you. It sets up this fucking edge, like literally you inbox yourself inside of this little box of this consciousness. And basically what that does is it prevents you from allowing anything to get outside of this box and anything to get inside of the box. And in doing so, you end up running around in fucking circles over and over and over and over like a goddamn fish in a bowl. Fish. Just like it talks about in the Old Testament. I don't know who the hell it was, Peter, Paul, whoever the hell it was, when he talks about going fishing. Well, there you go. You become this fish. You've been fished out of the water and you've been put inside of this bowl, this tiny little bowl that the boundaries only extend out so damn far. And this is what they want. This is what the people that started this shit wanted to begin with. Listen, they're not going to give you a book and expect you to not explore the areas they tell you not to go. They tell you to run over here because it's dangerous over there. But see, in your awakening conscious state, you knew or you figured out and you developed that idea that, okay, no, it's not safe to run over this way where they're telling me to go. I'm going to go the opposite direction. And what happened? That's exactly what we did. We ran into the opposite direction. And I'm not saying running in the opposite direction is bad. That's a good thing. You're always supposed to run the opposite direction they tell you to go in. But then you get over here to the next level, to the next stage. Because you have developed this new conscious that, okay, as I've explained in my old videos, the whole Jesus story is bullshit. Straight up. I'm being dead ass serious here right now. I don't even fucking care. Alright? I'm saying however the hell it is and however the hell I wanna fucking say it. Okay, because oh shit, he cursing, he doing it. Look, what the hell is a curse word? For real, let's be honest. If the ancient languages came before the English language that was taken from the old ancient languages, then what the fuck is a curse word? Really? But never mind all that. So you develop this new stage of consciousness. You figured out, oh shit, this book is actually referring to people like myself. And you get in that, and and you start reading it, and you start reading it. But see, here is the main fucking problem with all of this. Because yes, there is different levels of consciousness. I don't give a fuck what anybody else think about it. There are different levels. And when you start going, you could just feel this shit. Like you just all of a sudden, like you become a trafficker of information. You just start pulling in all this information. You know what to put out and what to take in. You know which way to go and which way not to go. And after a while, you start gaining all this damn wisdom. And you don't even know where the fuck it came from, but you know that is there. You become more confident in yourself. You become more confident in the things that you say, and and the things that you put out, etc., etc. This is the difference between a goddamn zombie and someone that's actually awake. There's different levels. You could draw it out on the screen there. You know? And then once you go ascend in different levels, because you've gained all this new knowledge, you're able to actually see what's happening is you're actually starting to go outside of that box. Because yes, there is many information that you can gather from one place, but sometimes there are some things in that one place that has some that does not have the very important information that you were actually missing. Something very important that you were actually missing. And then when you run up on something like you run up on a certain sentence or a word or something that you found somewhere, and then you look at it and you're reading it and you go to yourself, like you're looking at it like, what the fuck? So you're sitting there trying to comprehend it, but you can't comprehend it because you are still layered inside of a bigger box inside of that little box. It's just like those little toys where the little man, or it starts out with the real big man, and then you open the big man, there's another man inside of it, and you open that one, there's another man inside of it, and it keeps going all the way down until there's just a little bitty man at the very, very bottom. This little man at the very, very bottom is basically where we came from. Stripped of everything, completely naked, done. And guess what? We're still at the fucking bottom, truth be told. We are still at the bottom. Why? Because we are still doing the same shit. We are still falling under the same spells, and we don't even fucking realize it. We are too busy getting caught up in all this other dumb shit about, fucking skin color. Or, there's motherfuckers even saying shit like, oh, we're not from Africa. We're not Africans. Well, motherfucker, they pulled you away from Africa, so how the fuck you gonna say that? I'm like, well, Israel's not part of Africa. Oh, yes, it is. All of that region. All this is just like I was talking about before, hidden information. Hidden information. No one really knew how the fuck big Africa was. We thought Africa was just this right here and there wasn't shit else. But then come to find out that, well, shit. There really was never such thing as a Middle East, now was there? That's right. All of this over here, and they're even saying that India was east, what was used to be East Ethiopia. So that means all of this was a part of Africa? So Africa is absolutely fucking huge. It is absolutely huge. Because more and more every day as we grow in awakening in consciousness, we realize that, okay, shit. Well, we know now that all this is part of it, so shit, yeah, I guess that makes us Africans, right? Because what? Sumerian culture here, we know, or we should know by now. If you haven't known, I'm going to tell you now that there is a part in there, Isaiah 19, where it says that Egypt, Assyria, and Israel are God's people. And Israel is the heritage, etc., etc. So, what does that mean? We know that the book is talking about possibly some dark people. Okay? So, that must mean that those other two places are. Well, we already know that Mizraim in Egypt they were black. We know now Israel was black. So the Assyrians had to be black. They had to be dark-skinned, melanated people. And truth be told, that's when you actually look in the Bible and actually find this stuff, as I've had before, you actually find out this stuff is true. You find out this stuff is true. Because it even says that some of them even wrote in a Western Semitic language that is now extinct. Interesting. Interesting. So, it just goes back to what I'm talking about right there with the whole thing about Africa, it's like, fuck, people just all over the goddamn place. Like, some people are saying, okay, well, we're not African, so, well, what the fuck are we then? What are we, bro? And then they'll go and start making videos saying, oh, well, maybe we're, well, we actually look like the old Native Americans that used to be here, the black ones. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, fuck. Then, okay, so we're not African, now we're Native Americans. And then they're saying, no, we're not Native Americans. See, we actually came from Africa right here. And it's like, well, goddamn, which one is it? What the fuck are we? Are we Australians? Are we old black? Are we black Chinese? Are we black Africans? Are we black Native Americans? Black Mayans? Did we come from South America? What the fuck is it? Oh, maybe we actually came from all of those. Perhaps. Let's just say, for instance, yes, okay, we did come from Israel, Africa, wherever, okay. But let's just say for a minute that maybe all these other dark places that we're finding, that we're actually just doing just that. We're actually just finding more dark-skinned, melanated civilizations that have gone extinct just like ours. How ironic. Well, shit. We look around the world, we're trying to find the history of us. We can't seem to find that shit anywhere in any normal places. Can't find it anywhere. Oh, sure, it's written in books here and there. But there's no, they're not going to just throw their information out. You got to dig, 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 and dig, and dig, and dig all the way down to almost the damn bottom just to find this information. But see, once again, You've gone from one box to another box to another box. You're basically you're ascending in your consciousness, okay? You're gaining more knowledge because you are actually taking the time to actually going outside and researching shit outside of that. And this is the kind of shit that you find. This is the kind of stuff that you find out. People just recently found out about the black Indians in India, that they actually came from Eastern Ethiopia, that they actually came from Africa, that's where they originated. And then people will say, well, they don't got any hair like us. You know, they don't have the fro type hair or anything. It's like, well, you know, you kind of just throw a hand up there and you're like, well, that's what the hell they said. You know, they say they originated from there, so I guess we might as well just take their damn word for it. But the fact of the matter of all of this is the fact that you actually took the time to go outside of that normal box that you don't allow information coming in and you don't allow information going out of. And then you know what? The biggest, how do I even say this? The biggest goddamn problem with us right now is the fact that we are still doing the same shit that we did when we came out of fucking religion. No, we're not going and we're, you know, actually following the religions, but we still hang on to the aspects and the characteristics and the doings that came from that religion. And what am I talking about? Well, to sum it all up in one word, you could just say basically divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. That's right. I mean, what? We are so stuck on the most minor shit out there. Like, you know, I mean, like, you know, the whole shit with the Esau thing. Like, okay, you know, Esau's a white man. No, he's not the white man. He's a okay, he was a black. Okay, well, you know, well, whatever. All right. I mean, it's not exactly a dung argument as I've seen some people say. It's the fact that we can't take the fucking time to actually research the same thing together and come to one conclusion because we have all these people out there trying to mislead us on purpose. Our own people out there misleading us on purpose. Out there on every fucking street in almost every damn city in this country, not even just this country. Now they're over in Europe. Now they're down in Australia. Now they're basically situating themselves everywhere. And I think you know who I'm talking about. I think you very well know who I'm talking about. Because look at us right now. We're divided in sections. Non-messianic, messianic. This is no different from baptism or being a Baptist, being a Methodist, Presbyterian, Catholic, or you know, or whatever form of Christianity, or better yet, maybe even a Islam or a Muslim. You know, compared to a Christian. Hmm? Or one tied in Judaism compared to one that's just Muslim, you know, just divided. Get what I'm saying? Divided. We've gotten to the point where we've started dividing shit up so much to the point where we're dividing each other on basis of fucking color. Really? You're like, well, shit, I'm darker than you, motherfucker, so, you know, I'm more pure than you are. What the fuck kind of shit is that? Sitting there arguing on a basis of melanin. Really? That's all it is. Dark matter. The same shit you see up there in space. This is the, I'm not going to go into that because it's hella spiritual and whatnot, but it's the same difference. All right. And yes, there's going to be different levels um of skin, of darkness and whatever, and that's because there is a difference in culture. Because over here in America, we are I guess you could say manipulated, or we let's just basically say we have foods, medicines, shit, even the damn air that we breathe, all of this stuff takes an effect into effect that affects us in such a way that it can actually demelanize our skin. I shit you not. And some people probably didn't even know this. They're probably thinking, what? Yeah, surprise, motherfucker. Surprise. This is why. I mean, what? We got GMOs out there. We can't eat shit because you know, everything is freaking genetically modified in foods. They got all these damn drugs out there. It's just basically on a study of alchemy, which is basically a study of melanin. So they know how your shit ticks. They know how you work, and there's videos on that too, of uh, of like how they say there's um. Well, I guess what happened was the study proved that when it came to fluoride, that basically what they were saying was the darker of your skin, the darker that your skin is, okay, and they put this on comparison of blacks, Hispanics, and Caucasians, that obviously that blacks had the highest level of absorbing, like they had the highest chance of absorbing the most of this fluoride shit into their body because, like I told you, melanin is just basically dark matter. Okay, we need the sun. It basically is what makes us darker because our skin actually absorbs the sun. Our skin actually absorbs the sun. This is why they have made shit like sun lotion, suntan lotion, and all that other stuff because they're actually literally spraying either melanin or melatonin. I'm not sure exactly which one it is, but they're spraying the shit on them. This is why they can put it on them and walk outside and this is why you see that they start getting darker because they have literally sprayed that shit on there. And I'm not even gonna get into the fact of where the fuck that came from because I'm pretty sure it's fucked up. So yeah, we're just gonna leave that subject alone. But that's basically what it is. That's basically what it is. And this is the reason why I entitled this video uh and called it The Journey, because right now we basically are on a journey. We are on a journey of awakening. See, the Mayans didn't have it fucked up. See, people thought that, the world was gonna end and shit, that this reason why their calendar stopped or whatever. No. The Mayans knew what the hell they were talking about in 2012 because even though this started happening a little bit before 2012, there was none even more, like there was a lot bigger uh or massive group of people all together that just started waking the hell up all of a sudden. And now we see all this different shit going on with the sun and the solar flares and everything. And truth be told, through my research, that's actually good for you, believe it or not. It's yeah, I mean, I can get more into that, but I'm not going to get into that because, well, maybe on another video. But this is what I'm talking about with the whole journey thing. And I think, like I said, what our biggest problem is, and really sick and tired of seeing this shit, we can't just fucking get along because you know, we've once again, we have divided up ourselves. We've been this motherfucker way more than 400 years and we ain't, where is this Christ person coming? He's the motherfucker that brought you over here to begin with. What the fuck makes you think he's gonna bring you out? And see, and that's another thing that goes on the high dense spiritual level of that. See, people want to go and change his name to being a black man and saying, oh, the real story of Christ or the real story of Yeshua, whatever the hell his name is, or yada yada. They say shit like that. And truthfully, see, this is how people end up being spiritually blinded on this. They don't realize that it's like, okay, so you've read this story here, you read this story here, and you once thought he was white, but then now all of a sudden you're like, oh, he's not white, he's black, oh, he's black, you start throwing a fit and shit, and all of a sudden you start thinking to yourself like, okay, well, well, he's black, well, what do we do now? Oh shit! Let's throw a black image on him. Let's give him an afro, and let's give him some dark skin, and let's just say that this is what he looks like. See, we see the description right here. Like, okay, but you have to realize there's other contradictions in that book, such as the ones I've explained in the past, that do not, whether this motherfucker was white, black, green, blue, purple, yellow, orange, whatever. It's still the same fucking person, and I can't stress that anymore. I'm not going to stress that anymore, because if you still want to lock yourself up into that smaller box down there, feel free, my friend. But it's sad. It's fucking sad to actually just... It's sad to see that. It's sad to see that, and then, a lot of people don't take the time to look at the big picture of what's going on. They don't take the time to look at the big picture of what's going on. And the big picture is, and truth be told, some of y'all probably won't like this, but the truth be told is there is a mass black genocide going on massively around the world. The entire world. Not just in America. But at the same time, they're doing this to keep you focused. It's to keep you focused. And in doing that, what do? We end up still running around in the same damn circles over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And it's just, I just wonder to myself, when the hell are people going to realize this, that they're still running around in circles? Like, okay, it's cool that you go and read about yourself and all, and like, okay, you finally figured out that you actually have a history. That's what you found out. You found out that you actually have a damn history now, and you don't have to go, you don't really have to go searching around for it so much now, because you've actually found it in this one place. But I'm telling you, there are other places. Okay, there are other things that you can look up, okay, besides what's there. Like, okay, that's cool and all, but see, at the same time, that one place don't describe things like you. It doesn't describe you of yourself, because after a while, when you start gaining that more knowledge, and I know some of you have probably experienced this, you've experienced the fact that you've experienced a like, it's not just an awakening. I guess it's more like a spiritual awakening. You start seeing things that you've never seen before in your life, or you're being exposed more to these new things. All right, and I talked about this before. All right, I know probably some people that are stuck in that box are probably gonna say some shit like, "Oh, you're going off, nigga. You going off. You going off." I don't honestly, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like for real, say what you want, but the bottom line is, it's a spiritual awakening in your ascending. That's basically it. That's bottom line, and it's the truth. And this thing is not fake. These are actually making up things that are actually really a part of your body. These are things that actually make up the things in your body. And that means that you are able to do more than than the book actually, or this thing, or whatever you found this information said that you can do. And that's the bottom line. That's the truth. As a matter of fact, parts in the book actually tell you this anyways. And on that, I'm going to go ahead and go into Psalm 82. Because I know some people, I've been seeing this going around a lot. By the way, this is the stuff about the Jesus ship. The first British ship to slave to reach the Americas was called the Jesus. The good Jesus, really. You can believe that shit if you want to, man. But anyways, what is it? Psalm 82 and 6. It says here, I have said, you are gods, and all of you are children of the Creator. Huh. So people I know a lot of time will probably look at this and probably think to themselves, what? And it's like, well, wait a minute. I thought we were just human. Why is this shit saying that we're gods and we're children of the Creator? Yada, 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 yada. Well, the verse isn't lying. The verse is actually telling the truth. And not even just in this culture, but several other cultures around the world believe this same thing. They believe this same thing about, about this idea that is, again, written here in the Bible, in Psalms, in the Old Testament, okay, that says you are gods and you are children of the Most High. Now people can go and give me whatever interpretation they want on this. I'm going to give you mine. Basically what this says here, it says what it means what it says. You are gods and you are children of the Creator. This saying that you are little creators, that you're little gods. Now, on this one verse right here, very spiritual indeed. And the reason why it's very spiritual, because this actually makes up things that are part of your body. It's probably based on things that you probably, again, have not gone out and researched on, but it is there. And what this means is, like, for example, DNA. Now, I've talked about this before in a post, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about it on this video too, so that I can get out there. But concerning your DNA, at the most, okay, like they say, we only use 1/3 of the brain, yada, yada, yada. But what they don't really talk about is this thing that is called junk DNA. Some of you may have heard it. If you have, good for you. Now, what junk DNA is, they say that either 97 or 98% of that DNA is foreign. Wait, what? Yeah, they say that only, let's say, you probably use at the most, what do they say, 3 to 10%? 3 to 10% of your DNA capabilities. They say that 97% of that DNA is junk. You know why they say it's junk? Because they don't know what the fuck it is. Because they don't know what it is, what it does, or where it came from. This is the DNA that made you up from the Creator. And what this DNA is, this is your spiritual DNA that is locked. So the fact that you only have, I would say at the most, let's just say for instance you had 90%, and let's just say you only had 10% that are actually unlocked. You still have 90% of that DNA. And let me go even deeper than that. Let's just say on that 10% level, you're starting to actually be able to do some crazy shit. Like let's just say you've actually seen, like, no shit, you actually seen like these little beings, these shadow people, out the corner of your eye, and you're sitting there, you be sitting there chilling and whatnot, and you think, you're looking out the corner of your eye because the sense, your spiritual senses have went off because you felt the presence around, and you look in that direction because you know it's there because you can see it out your peripheral vision. You look over there and the shit starts, and it takes off like the speed of light, almost. Like at the speed of sound, that thing is already gone. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, what the F was that? I think I'm losing it. Damn, let me put down this drink. you know, and you think you're going crazy. But then you start being able to do other things too. Like you start seeing these little sparkles in the sky. You start seeing these little basically what you're seeing is energy. That's right. You are actually you are physically seeing energy through the spiritual eye. Through the spiritual perception. Yep. This is real stuff. It happens. I know it does because I've seen some of this shit myself. Crazy enough, but I mean, and that's not even really scratching the surface of the things. Like I'm sure some people even believe that they've developed these psychic abilities, etc. I mean, this is all a part of this locked DNA that they don't know is there. That's a part of you. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Let's see. This is just a random site. I don't know if it's going to say it. Over 98% of DNA is largely unknown function. Presently, only the function of a few percent of the DNA is known. The rest has been believed to be useless garbage, commonly called junk DNA by molecular biologists. Increasing evidence, there's that awakening factor, is now indicating that DNA is not junk at all. Well, no shit. If it's a part of you, how the hell are you going to call it junk? But here's the bottom line. They still don't, again, know what this entirely what this DNA does. This is like finding a foreign object that, you really don't know. This is like going out and trying to learn a completely new language that you just heard yesterday. All right? And to some that might be a little easy, but it takes more than a day to learn a language. For real. Unless you were just that smart, I mean, cool, more power to you and everything. But as I've said, all of that stuff is linked together. All of that stuff is linked together. Not just the spiritual things that you can see, not just that 97%, 98% of that spiritual DNA is what I'm going to call it, that is somehow locked, which is now, it's the year 2016, and all that stuff is going to start unraveling. People are going to start moving into different areas, like I was talking about before. They're going to start moving outside of the box. Not just that one small box, but the larger box. They're going to start going in different areas that they have never been in before. And in doing this, and consciousness is going to probably end up increasing. Changes in the earth are going to start happening. They've already been happening ever since 2012, 2011. I'm not sure when, but that's when things really started getting heavy. 2012, there was the whole massive UFO sighting, which is ironic because, they said that 2012 was be the end of the world, but really it's not. And we're seeing that everywhere. So, and more of this stuff is going to happen. It's like a big shift is going to start happening from this point on and onward. All right. I mean, I know there's probably been talk about this financial thing. Well, let me tell you something about this financial shit. All right, you can't fucking believe this shit because bottom line is when it comes to oh shit, hold on. When it comes to this market shit right here, like they just you can see it. They're struggling. They can't keep the shit up. They can't keep the shit up for the past what? How long has oil been crashing? And I know that there's this whole idea about the whole new world order and and the switching and the demolishing of the currencies and all that other stuff. Like just the other day last week, there was this rally. Okay, it's nothing new to us the fact that the Fed can print money. Okay, whatever, they can have that shit. But the bottom line is no, they can't keep it up forever. I don't care what anybody says. But I mean, look at this. This is the last decade. Last decade of the oil right here. This is not getting any better. Okay, after 10 years and you start seeing the same trend, this is going to keep going down. There's just no getting around it. And as I was saying before, talk about this shift, you know, this massive shift of things that's going to just start changing over. People, ideas, beliefs, religions, skip the religions, but let's just say beliefs, okay, consciousness, etc., etc., etc. Because the earth is alive, just like you are. You have an energy field. This energy field is also known as an auric field. It's true, you can see it. Just like you can see the energy field of the earth. Well, you can't actually see it, but you know it's there. It's basically, it makes up the same pattern of the energy field that surrounds you. The same kind of energy field surrounds the earth. And these solar flares actually gives it energy. It actually, it's like I don't know, it's like a pulse. I don't know what those things called in the hospitals. Where they go like clear, and they shoot you like that. It's like one of those. It brings it back to life. And like I said, you have an energy field just like the Earth. You can't see it with your physical eyes. It's not possible. You have to see it with your spiritual eyes. And in doing so, yes, there is a possible way that you can shift it between the physical and the spiritual. There's a way to do this. But, again, I'm not going to go into all that because I basically explained everything. But getting back to um, getting back to the scripture about the "you are God's" part, basically, and I'm gonna try to make this short, so I'm not spending all this time on there. Basically, the more of this locked DNA, this locked foreign spiritual unknown DNA starts unlocking, the more you are going to basically ascend. That's the best way I can put it. Just like you go ascend up in consciousness, this is basically what's going to happen. The higher you go up in consciousness, the more that DNA starts unraveling itself, the more you start becoming in tune with yourself, and the more that you start growing as a person, the more you start being in tune with the nature around you, okay? The more you start being able to do abilities, it will get to a point eventually to where the things that you think will actually come into play. I know some of y'all like, what? Motherfucker, you've lost your mind. No. This is the bottom line. Because there's no other explanation why that there's 98% of this DNA being locked. That they don't even know what it is, where it came from. They have an idea. I'm sure they do. Because this is all they do. They spend their time trying to figure out these things so that they can figure out a way to fuck you over on it. You know? Just like with the bad foods. This is why you need to go and start taking natural minerals, some activated carbon, aka activated charcoal, or some diatomaceous earth, or start, taking, just start looking for the natural stuff. But be careful with that too, because some people like to screw you over on it, and it don't be actually natural. It's just. But it's better than going off and taking a NyQuil. All right, it's better off than going and taking aspirin. It's better than taking these pills that are actually doing absolutely jack shit for you. They're just temporary. It even says on the damn bottle that the medicine is only temporary. It's only going to work for a certain amount of time. It's only going to work for so long. So, and in that time, your body's going to fight off the rest. It might take a while, but eventually it's going to fight it off. The body's a lot stronger than people believe it to be, or that's the way they've made it out to be. All right. So, on that, like I said, this is what it is. This is what it is. There's no other explanation for it. And that locked DNA doesn't even, that's only part of the actual process. That's only a good portion of the process, but it's not the entire idea behind it. All right, because these sort of things are just going to end up happening on their own. Nature is going to take over and everything's just going to happen on its own. All right, but that's why it says here, you are gods and you are children of the Creator. You are little creators because, like I said, you have the near capabilities of doing these things, but at the moment, it's not even possible. It's not even possible. I mean, what? We go out, let's just say you're driving down the street. I mean, you've seen the way some of these people drive. The speed limit will be 45, and for some reason they're going 25. And why? It's because they're stuck in their goddamn phone. Trying to sit there and text and look in the road, and they can't even do two things at once. They don't know how to go back and forth, enough, and then they start swerving all over the road. Or some of them will just be straight zombied. Some of them just be straight zombified. Like, they'll just be driving slow just because. There won't be nothing wrong with their car or nothing. They're just driving slow, like doing dumb stuff. Like, I don't know, like making a U-turn at a no U-turn zone, or making a U-turn while the light is green on the other side. So they end up getting into wrecks, accidents. Like, I mean, you could just look around. Like, you just step outside for a minute and just look around. Just look at what everyone does. Look at what some of these people do. You can see it. It's absolutely ridiculous. And you're wondering to yourself, damn, like, that's when you really start to realize there really are different levels of consciousness. There's the zombie level, and then there's the other levels, which goes into different dimensions and whatnot, and et cetera, et cetera. And that's, I'm not even going to go into that either. But that's basically what it is. And on that, that's basically all I wanted to say on this. I'll probably end up going into another scripture next week to describe that on another spiritual level and stuff. Because, I mean, we could read this stuff physically all day long. We could read it physically all day long, but the bottom line is, if we don't get the real meaning behind it, we're not going to learn anything. And then, it goes back to the other point too. It's like, well, how do we know this is the real thing? So many questions that we can ask ourselves. But see, this is why it's important to question everything. Everything that you know. Don't matter what, no, don't matter what it is. If you can question it, then you go in and you can research it. Because you know what? You're sitting here, you listening to me talking right now, but the fact of the matter is you're doing just that. You're only listening. You're only listening. You're not really learning. The only way for you to really learn this is to actually go research it up yourself. Because this is what has fucked us up for the last, I don't know how long now. And it still continues to mess us up even now today. We can listen all day long, but if we don't go out and actually learn, actually research up on this stuff, and then from there we can discern it for ourselves. And if we research it enough to the point where we can actually come to the actual conclusion that, okay, bam, this is what it is. We go over here and research this and find out that, okay, well, this has two sides of the story. Let me look at both sides. So you look at both sides and you find out that, okay, well, it's just these two sides fighting against each other. There's actually a bigger picture outside of that. So therefore, this is what you have to do. This is how you actually learn. This is how you research things. Okay, you just don't go on there and just take things for granted. Because I've seen so many people do this. I've seen so many people go out and take things as they are. This is going to get you absolutely nowhere. Because everything is not always as it seems. And I know you've heard that. I know you've heard that before. Because that's exactly what it is. Some things aren't as they seem. We can say that something is in a certain category when in truth, that certain thing doesn't even have a fucking category. It's in a category of its own. They just took that and decided to put it in this category and say that, okay, this is that. So this is what, this says. Okay, well, it doesn't match up what I know over here. So this is bullshit. This is bad. This is evil. Throw it out. Again, that goes back to the idea of nothing goes out the box, nothing comes in the box. And if we keep on thinking and learning in that sort of way, we're always going to be stuck inside that box. So that one, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. And to that, y'all, till next time, I'm saying shalom. Peace to you all.